Greetings, friends. How are you? I hope you are fine and you are doing great. My name is Matt, aka Dichava, and I'm doing great too. Now, let's get on to it, shall we? So, in this video, what I want to do is I want to speak about practice. I want to talk about practice, right? And I'm mostly going to be reading from my notebook over here in front of me. And just to keep it quick and just to say the points that I have to say about it, because it's really important to know how to practice. So here we go. So I think every guitarist's playing abilities are as good as their practice. So if you do good practice, you'll be a good guitarist. And if you do bad practice, you'll be a bad guitarist. So strive to be good. So even if you forget everything else that I say after this, you just need to know and remember that practice has to be effective, right? And in my opinion, effective means practicing the right things the right way. So by the right things, I'm referring to various musical concepts and guitar techniques that you need to learn, which are quite numerous. And if you don't learn all the right things, you won't reach your goals. So remember, it's about reaching goals, right? So by the right way, I think I'm referring to a couple of things, and this is the part that I want to focus on a little more, right? So I'm just going to repeat that paragraph. By the right way, I think I'm referring to a couple of things, and this is the part that I want to focus on a little more. So I want to focus on the right way part of what I just said above, right? I'll start by giving an example of not practicing the right way, right? So one of the most common mistakes of practicing is when a person wants to learn and do a lot of things in one sitting. This could be in the form of wanting to do a lot in an hour's time, or a lot in a day, and it simply won't work and doesn't work. The so-called practice marathons, that people talk about over the internet, not only for music but essentially for everything. So, and as far as I'm concerned, the solution to this is that you need to break down your practice sessions into smaller, manageable sessions where you practice one or two things for 30 minutes to 10 minutes each day, because that is more likely to bring results and than wanting to do a lot in one session. So in other words, it's better to do 10 minutes of one thing each day of the week than do 10 hours of many things in the day. And I know you already know this, but it's easier said than done. I'm also guilty of some of the things that I'm going to be telling you about in this video. So, and this is where consistency and patience comes in. You need to be consistent with the small efforts and be patient in the beginning stages when it almost seems as if nothing's happened, right? So this is where having a written plan will come in handy, even when you no longer have a teacher, right? And an intermediate player. So if you want to go beyond and keep on improving, you are going to have to write out a practice plan or practice plans for yourself, right? And I think I'll make a separate video where I'll show you an example of my own practice plan. I might make the video, I might not. So the second and maybe the last thing about the right way is that of understanding the concept or the idea of muscle memory, right? For me, understanding this changed the whole game, right? So muscle memory means that the muscles are learning things too. So it's not just you reading with your eyes or just listening, but literally your muscles in your body are learning things as well. And not only your mind, and it's not only your mind that's learning, like I've already said. And the thing about it is that muscles take longer than your brain or your mind to learn new things. And I personally think this is where the issue and challenge comes in for adults or grown-ups when learning new skills. So they make the mistake of thinking that because they understand something or a concept in their mind, then they can do it or they can easily do it, right? Only to find that it is not like that. You understand? And you've probably seen somebody do something and you think, I'm gonna do that, I can do that, and you get shocked all the time, right? So that's essentially what I'm talking about. So the thinking behind muscle memory is that the new neurons, new neural connections have to form in your mind, and as you learn the new skill, and this takes time. Just think of it as growing new branches in your brain, and in the case of guitar, new branches in the nerves in both of your arms and in your hands, and those type of things. I'm not saying that's exactly how it works, but I'm just saying conceptualize it like that, use that model. And so with this in mind, don't be surprised when you've read something or have seen someone do something which you understand, but then you can't do it when you attempt to do it or play it, because you simply have to allow the connections to form, and whatever biology that needs to take place to take place. So which leads me to the third and thing, right, which is repetition. Repetition for me is the glue that binds all of it together. So this is the water and the fertilizer that nurtures and grows the muscle memory. So you will have to repeat a lot of things for a long time for you to be able to play the way that you envision yourself playing, right? So man, it doesn't matter how redundant it is or how minute, you're just gonna have to repeat stuff, right? So the reason why I'm mentioning this is so that you do not fall into the trap of thinking that by practicing a lot of new things without focusing exclusively on one or two things, you're going to get anywhere. For the most part, you'll probably quit and be frustrated, so we're trying to avoid that, right? So the fact of the matter is that music is broad, and so are the styles that you find in music and in playing guitar, right? And you can't play all of them, and you won't have the time to play all of those things, right? So you'll have to choose the one that you enjoy the most and stick with it for a while, right? Maybe 6 months, those type of vibes, enjoy it for a while. And in fact, by deeply understanding one genre, you'll inadvertently understand the other ones much quicker than if you wanna be all over the place at the same time. So it will be much easier later on if you understand one genre to understand and execute the other ones. That's what I suggest for you guys. So what I'm saying is this: for every concept that I'll be teaching you, don't try and learn everything within that concept. Just one or two will do. Ensure that you master those, and I know that it sounds boring, but it works, right? And then one of the reasons that I'm mentioning this is because there's so much distractions on the internet with unlimited lessons, and also with so many people showcasing their talents on social media. It can easily throw you off your tracks, right? It can derail you, in other words. So I was also a victim of this, so I'm just trying to help you shorten your learning curve and your time as well. So you're gonna have to choose which genre you want to play. It can be two, and stick to those two, right? And learn as many songs in those genres, as much songs as you possibly can, and that's how you'll get good. Essentially, I'm trying to show you the way to getting good, right? So the fourth and the last thing that I want to talk about is differentiating between playing and practice. Those are two different things. So there's a difference. So in my experience, practicing, and I mean real practicing, is boring, and playing is fun. So hence I'm saying you're gonna need to balance between those two things, right? Especially between the playing and the practicing. Don't spend so much time playing. Well, you can do that, but when you practice, really zone in and focus on it, you know. So you need to keep a balance between the two. If you play one song that you've already learned, you might get stuck get stuck on the song. And on the other hand, if you practice too much without playing along with the song or a band context, what's going to happen is you might just know tricks and not be able to play. So try to keep a balance. The proper balance will come to you as you go. It's like those people who can do soccer tricks, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they can play in a soccer match or in a proper team. You understand? So that's more or less it for this lesson in as far as practicing is concerned. So keep these notions in mind and continuously try to carry out one of them, and that will ensure that you succeed in your endeavor and you become a good guitarist. That's it for this lesson, friends. I'll see you in the next lesson. Stay well and take care.